So we've talked to a few drivers, and we talked to a team manager, and we wanted to talk to a mechanic. I had to take my announcer hat off because standing next to a better announcer, Chris Wheeler, when he's not tuning and not spotting, he's a pretty good mic man. Chris, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. You are here under the Koene USA pit this weekend. I want to talk a little bit about the Mojo tire and the track here at CMP. It sounds like it's a pretty abrasive track. The track's really eating away at the tires. As you guys setting up the carts, what kind of challenges is that giving you guys out here this week?
You know, a lot of it isn't necessarily coming down to the setup. I mean, at this point of the week, we know what we have, and not too many people, well, if they're smart, they're not changing much. A lot of it's actually being changed in the seat. It's the drivers having to adapt to the different conditions. As the rubber builds up, obviously the characteristics are changing, and you're going to have to change how hard you're going to drive into the corner. I mean, some guys they think they can drive in fast now because there's rubber. Well, it's different. These are Mojos. You take everything you've learned everywhere else and go 180 degrees the other direction. You know, so I think the drivers that are being successful are those who are kind of slowing it down a little bit. You know, slower is faster sometimes, and that's what's happening right now.
I think that's an analogy that you're going to hear all the time, especially when you're starting out in karting. Slow is fast, smooth on the wheel, slow turn in, all that kind of stuff. We were down here for the summer shootout 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you were down here with Koene or not, but the track is gaining rubber. It's a little hard to notice, at least from my vantage point, but you guys can definitely notice the track is getting rubber.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the rubber's definitely built up a lot. I mean, you think about it, yesterday we qualified with all the entries here, and everybody put on one new set for a complete run through the cycle, through the queue. So that definitely changed the characteristics with the rubber getting put on the racetrack. The difference is because of the compound that Mojo and Max Speed gives us here for this event for the different classes, it changes it. It's not your typical rubber means grip, if you know what I'm saying. It means rubber on top of pebbles and rocks mixed in with a little bit of asphalt is turning into a skating rink. You know, and so every driver across the board's biggest question right now is, how do I get enough grip in the race car to get forward bite?
I think you bring up a good point. A lot of the tracks down here in the southeast are built with a much different type of asphalt. They have rocks, they have seashells, they have all kinds of things in it, and I think that's what's leading to a little bit of the abrasion and wearing away. Heat cycles. How hard is it to manage that in the high temperatures we've been having? These Mojos go through a heat cycle every session, and then they come in, they cool off. Is there a noticeable amount of grip drop-off session to session, or is it just as the session gets later and later?
I think it really depends on the compounds, D1s to D2s. Depends on the class, obviously. You think about things like combined weight for the driver and cart, the different power that's coming out of the different classes. I don't really think that the degradation through heat cycles is a big thing. I think that, honestly, because it's so hot here, you're not really losing a lot of surface rubber off the tire because there's so much already on the track. And so the heat cycles aren't really affecting it that badly.
Would you say it's just getting hot and greasy, and the grease in the tires what's causing lack of grip?
Yeah, and in theory, it's getting so hot, and we're overworking them so much that because there's already that base layer of rubber on the racetrack, it's not the coarse abrasive type of racetrack we had earlier in the week where it was pulling the rubber off the tires. It's leaving the rubber on them. We're just sliding right over it now.
All right, well, Chris Wheeler, thanks a bunch. The tire game here, as well as any other facet of these carts, is fascinating, and it's something to really spend a lot of time working on and getting better. Thanks for taking the time to stop and talk to us, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to you getting back onto the mic soon.
Well, you never know. I mean, maybe we'll come make a visit tomorrow. I mean, it's a big overtaking here in the Koene USA pit. Podiums are expected and victories are celebrated is the motto. So hopefully we can have an easiest day possible tomorrow, get some wins, and maybe Mr. Marini's going to let me come up and join you.
All right, Chris Wheeler, the voice of Koene USA. Thanks so much for talking to us. It's Chris Wheeler.